Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Property Doctor. We're super excited to have you here with us, where we talk about the acquisition of properties, the maintenance and the management of properties, so that you can save time, save money, and also be healthy. If you stumbled on this channel, please stay tuned, because I'm sure you will learn something that can help you stay safe and healthy, and even save money, you know. Today we'll be talking about managing the extreme heat conditions in our homes. But before I start, you can connect with us on our Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, like you're doing right now at Property Doctor NG, and on Twitter at Property Doc NG. You can also call us on 0903-123-9999. Thank you for your messages and for your kind words and being a part of the family.
I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government will compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs. Please click on the subscribe button and also click on the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever any new episode comes up. I'm sure you will enjoy the program. Today we'll be talking about managing extreme heat conditions in our homes. You know, we have different times and seasons. Here in Nigeria, we have the rainy season, we have the dry season, we have the harmatTan season, and other seasons in different places in the world. It is important to know that since we cannot change the seasons, we should understand how we can manage effectively the weather conditions in our homes and in our lives. Shelter is very important, and it is our responsibility to make our lives enjoyable in our buildings and in the built environment. Managing extreme heat condition is very important. Now, what do I mean by extreme heat condition? This is when the temperature is above 38 degrees Celsius or maybe about 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Some people do not even let it get to these levels before they consider it as extreme heat condition. During the period of extreme heat condition, some call it heat waves, the air becomes stagnant and it traps emitted pollutants, often resulting in the increase in the surface ozone. Extreme heat weather conditions can cause drought. It can dry out our vegetation, and this in turn can provide more fuel for wildfires. And you know, when this is happening, the smoke in this wildfire can cause a serious medical hazard to our lives and to our buildings. This extreme heat condition can affect the house design at maximum temperature and even the average wind speed even in the house, because the factors vary. If you assemble a wall in the northern part of Nigeria, maybe like Sokoto or Borno area, the way you assemble the wall and the type of wall that you assemble there may not really work well in the southern part of Nigeria, like in River State, like in Delta State, and so on, because their climate conditions are not exactly the same. So can this extreme heat condition affect our buildings or the built environment? Keep watching and let us check if this is possible. You know, we have buildings, we have roads, we have infrastructure like bridges, dams, and so on. All this infrastructure, they absorb heat, and it leads to the temperature that can be maybe 1 to 3 degrees or 1 to 3 degrees Celsius or 1 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit hotter, especially in the urban areas than in the rural areas. And you know, This is known as urban heat island effect. It affects everything. Let's look at the effect on people that have been exposed to extreme heat condition. Sometimes they can have heat exhaustion, they can have dehydration, they can have heat cramps, heat stroke. Let me give you some signs that you can look out for. Sometimes for people who are light skinned, their skin turns red, and others that are dark skinned, you may not see it visibly, you may not see the visible red color, but at least you can feel very hot with dry skin and no sweat, and you feel so uncomfortable. You can notice rapid or strong pulse. You just be uncomfortable. You don't know what is going on. And sometimes you see some people go to take their baths so many times in a day. Sometimes one can feel dizzy, or they can feel confused, or even have unconsciousness. Extremely high body temperature can also be experienced during this time, maybe above 39 degrees Celsius or 102 degrees Fahrenheit if you take their temperature orally. Now, prolonged exposure to extreme heat condition can aggravate or worsen pre-existing chronic conditions in some people. That's why we're taking this thing very seriously. People that have respiratory problem or cerebral or cardiovascular disease can have the effect more. Now let's look at the effect on our buildings and the built environment. Can extreme heat condition affect our buildings? Yes. Not only can this extreme heat condition challenge the integrity of your building or this home structure, that is the structural work, but it can also affect some mechanical works and even the carpentry work. And its effect is sometimes very visible. You cannot hide it. It's annoying, and it can be very destructive. And sometimes it can even be fatal, especially when the building has been facing some problems of poor construction. Now, you need professionals to help you out at this stage. You need professionals even at the design stage. But if you find out that maybe you built the house and you're having these problems, you need to get a professional to help you, because you may not notice some of these problems on time, and it may take a while for that to happen. It can affect the wooden structure, like I mentioned earlier, like the roof members. It can also affect the wooden doors and windows, and you find out that they are drying up, they deform, especially if the wood has not been properly treated or processed. Now, if you have a poor masonry work, it can also be affected because you see it flaking, or you have cracks and all that. Now, wall paint can also be affected. For mechanical work in the building, if you have used PVC pipes that are of low quality, they can break or crack or bend, or they start changing color. That is if it's something that you can see, and you can start introducing other things into your building. Once these defects start occurring, and you don't pay attention to them, it may take some time to stop. So it's important we try to do something during this period, so that during the extreme heat condition, we'll be able to manage our buildings properly, because most times it's a slow process, but once it starts, it's a hard thing to really stop. So how do you reduce the effect of extreme heat condition in our building? The first thing we'll be looking at is the pre-construction stage. That is the design stage. Most times you need to put in mind so many things during the design stage when designing your buildings or your roads and so on. You need to put a lot of things in mind. You know the expected highest temperature of that particular area, and plan for ventilation, you plan for circulation, plan a lot of things. Now you design and build to encourage adequate ventilation. You can watch our previous episode on Property Doctor about cheap ventilation in our homes. It can help you plan your ventilation in the building to help you save some time and money. You can also increase the shade around the home, plant trees around the building. You need to have enough windows for proper ventilation and cross ventilation. Sometimes you can even introduce large windows or high level windows inside the building, so that your building will be cooled properly. Now, you can cover your windows after the construction when people have moved in. You can cover your windows with shades or with drapes, and just cover it to keep the heat out and excess light from coming into the building. You need to use weather strip doors and windows. Also, it can help you reduce the heat that will be introduced into your building. Use window reflectors specifically designed to reflect heat back. That is, reflect the heat out of the building. Add insulation to keep the heat out of the building. You can install green roofs. Some people call it living roof. You can install green roof on top of your building. Green roof or living roof is a type of roof that is partially or completely covered with vegetation and a growing medium. You know, you just plant something on top of a waterproofing membrane. Now, it can also include additional layers so that it can block the root from affecting the building. That is, you have a root barrier, and you can also introduce a drainage right on top of the roof and an irrigation system. So the green roof provides shade, it removes heat from the air, and it reduces the temperature of the roof or of the roof surface and the surrounding air in the area. So using green roofs in cities or other built environments with limited vegetation can moderate the effect, particularly during the day. So you can make that area, you're feeling very uncomfortable in your building. You can also install cool roof. These are materials that these are to cool the roof surface. You can use reflective surface reflectants and high thermal emitters. That is, the reflective surface of the roof will be working to keep away heat from the solar system into the building, to keep it out of the building. And reflective surfaces are a form of geoengineering. The most well-known type of reflective surface is a type of roof called the cool roof. So you can place this on your roof, or these days some people even place the solar panels as a roof covering, so that when the heat is coming and the light is coming from the solar system, you can use it to do something else, to help you in your home, to generate power, to cool your building and to cover the building as well. Like I mentioned, you can use your high-level window. So that will make the air go out. The hot air in the building will go out. So the high-level windows may not only be for illuminating the building, but they can help the building manage its temperature, so that when the hot air is inside the building, it goes up, because the hot air usually goes up and the cooler air is denser, is on the lower side of the building. So when you increase the headroom of your building and you introduce your high-level windows, you find out that the hotter air goes up and it moves out of the building, and you feel cooler at the level where you are in your building. You can also introduce extractor fans. This can help you move unwanted hot air out of the building, especially in the kitchen. So you can use these methods to cool your building. Another method is using a powered attic ventilator or an attic fan to regulate the heat level of the building. The attic area is the hottest part of the building. That is, the roof area is very hot, and you see that is the highest part of the building, and the temperature is always very high. So you can place an attic fan there to move out the hot air or the temperature that you don't want. You can just move it out. Let's talk about when the building is in use. That is when we started using the building, when the building has been constructed. You need to use energy efficient appliances and equipment, and when they are not in use, please just turn off the appliance. Please do not use bulbs that emit so much heat, because it will make the environment more uncomfortable for you. When the appliance is not in use, please turn it off. You save time, you save money, and you save yourself stress of the heat that you are feeling at that particular time. Now, install window air conditioners. The next thing we'll be talking about is installing window air conditioners, and insulate around the window air conditioner, or you can even use a split unit. It depends on you. Use air conditioners or cooling systems to cool the buildings. These days we have solar powered air conditioning systems. This can help you reduce the heat in the building, reduce overcrowding of your buildings. You can overcrowd your building in many ways. You can watch our video on overcrowding your building, managing overcrowding. I'll leave the link below so that you don't overcrowd your buildings. People think that when you say overcrowding is just having so many people in your building. It's not just having people in your building, but you also have unwanted equipment, things inside the building. You can put them away and do not overcrowd your building. You can watch our video on managing overcrowding in your building. It can help you. Now we also need to do something. The government should play its own part by providing adequate power supply, and even investors should put heads together and make sure that we have adequate power supply in our country. And also, if you are somebody who has a borehole, you can supply water to the people in your environment by making sure the taps are running, you have water supply to people. So if they're walking on the street and the weather is so hot, they can just pour water on themselves. This is for people in the rural area. You can have solar panel to help you generate some power to pump water so they can give it out to people. You know, although solar panel is gradually becoming obsolete, there are other methods to generate power so that we can have enough power and use our equipment very well. You can also have a fountain around. If you have a place like an estate, this can make the air not too dry. You can also have a swimming pool. It helps people around. If you want to swim, you can just cool yourself down by swimming in the area. Have you enjoyed this particular episode? If you're still watching, that means you enjoyed it. Please click on the like button and the subscribe button. Please don't forget to click on the notification bell so that you get an alert whenever a new episode comes up. You can connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube like you're doing right now at Property Doctor NG, and on Twitter, Property Doc NG. My name is Fumi Amunega Ajayi, also known as your Property Doctor. I hope to see you same time next week for another interesting episode of Property Doctor. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day and bye.
I'm coming. If you hand over to government to maintain, the budget the money and share it.
To live in that particular place that the house is. So it's supposed government to really compensate them so that and pay them and relocate them to where they are going and build another house for them.
Careful engineering and management to meet human needs.